Hello there.
Girls. We're in the Sea Haven.
I see you're wearing your Sea Haven.
Weather.
Oh, I love it. Oh, welcome everybody. I was racing around up until the last minute, and then I came up here and I was like, where's my computer charger? And I ran back downstairs. Anyway, here we are.
Catch your breath.
Welcome to Socktober meetup. It's just cruising right along. Oh, let's see. We are at the 16th. Oh, so let's see who mostly got folks who have been on here for a while, but I think Mary, I haven't seen you on a Zoom in a while, but yeah, you were just in the store, right?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. Can you hear me okay? I got it.
Yeah.
I was on 2 weeks ago, but not last week.
Okay.
So
yes.
Yeah. But I watched last week, so that was great. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, welcome back and good to see everybody. Anybody have any sock up? I wanted to make it into no, just sock update. We won't try to combine two words. It wasn't cute.
I can update.
Yeah, Gwen, nice to see you.
I was very excited. I finished my first sock today.
Woo-hoo!
Nice. Way to go, Gwen.
Yeah.
And then I just started on the second one. So
excellent. Speeding right along. And remind us your pattern. Was it was this knitting pure and simple?
Sure, yep.
No. Okay.
Yes. Yep.
Nice. Okay, Gwen, sock number 1 is in the books. Awesome. All right. Hey.
I finished mine too.
Okay, let me find you again, Pat. Here we go. Ooh, your
This is the first one.
So gorgeous.
Pretty.
This is called Summer Flower. I think it's Summer Flower. And it's just a socklet, so it's not, doesn't have a tall. It's just a two pattern repeats on the, anyway.
And the nice little lacy modification, with that looks so good with the purple.
Yes, I was concerned it would get lost, but it doesn't. It looks pretty good.
Beautiful, beautiful texture.
And I started the second one.
Yay, you guys, you and Gwen are sock buddies here.
Yes. I'll encourage you along if you'll encourage me along. The second one is always harder than the first.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, I have to fact check something because I was writing the blog post for some of those textured sock patterns that folks had recommended. And Pat, do I have it right from my notes, or was this crazy that you might have 40 pairs of grain stitch socks?
No, grain. I have maybe 6 or 8 pairs of grain stitch socks. I have probably 40 pairs of socks.
I thought so. I was like, that's a lot, even for Pat, but okay.
That's a little much in one pattern, yes.
Glad that I fact checked myself. Good. Yeah. Anybody else want to update us?
Oh, if I can find it quickly.
Hi. Oh, Jill,
I'm
hi,
all
yay.
my slouch socks.
You got your slouch socks and I got the pattern.
They're finished and I'm working on a new one. I don't really have a pattern for it. I'm making it up as I go, but it's going to be what I call a super sock. You may have seen these in which you just keep knitting. You put the first sock onto some spare yarn and you keep going and you end up with a very long sock. Then you split it, you knit the other toe, you knit the other cuff, and you put afterthought heels into it. And it's just fun.
What did you call it? You called it
I call it a super sock, but I think it's also called something like a 2-in-1 sock. There's a whole book about this kind of thing, but I didn't have a copy of it, so I thought I'd just try to figure it out as I go.
You're amazing.
I did one in the past, and it's on my Ravelry page, and it was kind of fun.
I think I saw something
Is it
like
like
that
a
on
tube?
Facebook the other day, and it was this very long thing, and in the middle you cut it in two or whatever.
Yeah,
and
you
had
end
two
up
socks.
with like you have to put it on some kind of holder, so their yarn or one of those funny little tube things.
Yeah,
What are those called? The
like
tube
the-
things.
the
Bobber?
barber cords. We also sell them at the
here.
goat.
Yeah,
I don't know
barber
the name.
cord.
Goat
This
goat
one.
cord. Yeah.
And anyway, you have one for each heel, and you have one at the end, because if you think about it, here's the cuff. I'm missing the toe. I'll come back and do a toe. I'll come back and do a heel. And then what I'm trying to decide, I think I could just knit the second cuff and keep going, do the second heel and have a toe all done, but we'll see how that works out. Anyway, it's kind of fun. And the other thing was I was afraid I would run out of purple. So I did a slip stitch with a lighter color that's kind of varying. And that's kind of fun. I'm enjoying having two colors instead of just one. So the other thing I did on this lately I've been making socks on 1.5 needles, 1.5 needles. I really like that. It tightens it up just a little bit from 2s, but not as much as a 1. And so that's been something new for me.
I've always
That's what I like about knitting. There's always something new you can play with.
Oh, there is.
So that's what I'm up to. Next week I'll show you my super sock.
Oh my gosh, yes, please do.
And
Take
I won't
some
take
pictures
it apart until we meet.
Okay, good. Because I was gonna say maybe you could also take a couple of photos, even just with like a phone camera, of sort of what it looks like. It's a tube, and then maybe like knit one end and a little progress, because I think that would be really fun for people to see if you feel like it.
That's a good idea. Actually, I could find a photo of the other one that I made a long time ago, but let me look for that while we're talking.
Well, I don't want to take you away from your knitting, so it's totally fine.
Okay, I'll just sit and knit. That's fine with me.
Iris, the Cashmere Goat sells that book that she's talking about because I bought it.
The knit socks too. It's I can picture the
I bought it from your shop, so I know that you guys sell that.
I know
the socks in the tube.
Well, I think it's worth trying at least once in your life. I mean, it's a nice idea to not carry so many pieces around with you.
Is it Knit 2 Socks in 1 by Sophia Talley? Is that the one?
Yeah, you're genius.
Okay, let me just pop it right in our chat.
Oh, good idea.
Really, because I was like, I think I know that book.
And actually, it'd be interesting to me. I'm sort of making this up because I don't have the book, but it'd be interesting to compare notes with how she does it. It wouldn't be that different. Other than, afterthought socks, heels, you can do different ways.
So cool. Yes, always something to learn. And I was just talking about that with someone in the shop this week, that new techniques, new stitches, new patterns, pretty much learn something new every time I knit a new pattern. And sometimes that's even just learning a different way that a pattern designer might write instructions. I mean, that's part of our literacy as knitters as well, is we oh, she's talking about that, or oh, I've seen that written in a different way, or I remember doing that in a pattern, but it wasn't quite like used this way. So any other updates from you sock knitters out there? Mary Ellen, hello, and then I'll go to Julie.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, I finished one sock.
So pretty.
Oh, that's fun.
Nice.
Is that a self-striping?
Yes, it is. It's
Lovely.
opal yarn. And I started the second, so
Oh my gosh, I love it.
we're all in the
Three
same
of us.
boat.
Banging along.
Oh, I'm sensing a theme that's going to be part of this week's email. It seems like a lot of you are starting your second socks. That's awesome, Mary Ellen.
Thank you.
And Mary Ellen, they got the yarn in for that shawl that you were sharing with us.
Great.
And I ordered my yarn today, so I'm
Good
excited.
for you. What color?
I got two different colors. One is a teal color and the other is a dark rose.
Oh, pretty. That'll
So,
be really nice.
yeah, I'm excited. Thank you, Iris.
Yeah, that was so much fun. And oh my gosh, I took the yarn outside, the silk paca. This is silk paca by Malabrigo. And for those of you that haven't been with us for the finish along, we had a lot of discussion about this yarn because Mary Ellen has knit up multiple really just simple knits, you know, the kind of thing that is easy breezy, watch a movie, a glass of wine knit, if you will, if that's your thing. And for a lace, it's a lace weight yarn, knit on a lace weight, but using a size 7. And it's basically just knitting every row and you're increasing. So it's simple to remember, but also Mary Ellen said, and this is what sparked art. She's like, yeah, it's just, you know, I want one in every color and it's great for travel and you can compress it down to really small. So that was fun. And then we got talking about this yarn silk package. Did we have it? We didn't have it. So I asked Kristen and Kristen was like, let's try it. Why not? And so just came in yesterday. And when I took those colors and in the afternoon, it's a really nice time for taking pictures of yarn right outside the shop. The light is very good. And I like took them out and I'm like, kind of plopped them down. And I just took my first picture. I was like, wow, like I don't really need to style this yarn. It just looks amazing. Oh my gosh, the colors are great. Yeah.
Well, I hope they fly off your shelves for the effort that you went for us. I appreciate it.
It would be good if you had a sample of it.
Knit her up one. Send it on in.
Well, and nice too that you can knit it in the bigger shawl size or smaller, slightly smaller scarf size too, if you don't want to go quite as large, is what I was reading. But yes, I think we should have a sample. Oh, and Kimberly, hang on. Let me just spotlight you. That's the book. That's the one.
Oh.
And there's a website that says thedrunkknitter.com.
Definitely a wine.
Yeah, definitely.
Put that in our notes. Iris, you need to put that in our notes.
I also wanted to share my favorite sock book. It's called the Op Art Socks, which is all of these different types of socks that are color work.
Oh, look at that.
And some of them are textured, and I've made 2 or 3 of them out of this book, and the instructions are really good. And they're just very artistic, that they, you know, depending on what you use for yarn, you can make them your own and make them your own art piece.
Wow.
What year was that published?
Well, this was given to me in 2013 by my old knitting teacher, actually. And it was
Op art is like from the 60s.
Right.
Well, actually, no, it was published in 2013. Interweave published it. The book is by Stephanie Vander Landen, and but I'll tell you something. Every time that I want to do something unique and original that you don't see somebody doing, this is the book that I go to do something original.
Very cool. Oh, I love a good book recommendation. You're just full of the good sock book recommendations, Kimberly.
Okay, if I turn it, let me see if I can turn this around. In my house, if you look in the corner right there, there's my knitting books right there.
Oh my God.
And most of them, over 60% of them are sock books.
Wow.
Goodness.
Because I'm an avid sock knitter for many years now. And so any new sock book that comes out, I have to have it.
I love it. I love it.
Our go-to librarian.
So there has not been a sock book that I have not picked up at Cashmere Goat when they get the new ones. And the other, when I learned how to knit socks, my very first pair of socks, I used the Yankee sock pattern and learned on the 4 double points. And every time that I knit a sock, that was the pattern that I went to for the size, the dimensions. And then the book that I shared a couple weeks ago now is my Bible for measurements and things of that nature. But I don't think that I'll ever go back to double points, because knitting in the round on 9-inch, I can also turn my heel without changing needles. And when I get down to the toe, it's just easy peasy. It's just one straight knitting with those needles.
Amazing.
But I did do a little bit of my second sock. So I do have, I can show you my little triangle that I finished for my second candy corn sock.
Ooh, move it over a little bit because we can't.
So there's
there we go.
there's my first triangle for coming up the.
Oh my gosh.
And then I'm working on the second one. So in this particular iteration of a sock, it's not really knitting in the round, but it's almost like Angelac. If you think about Angelac and you think about how it crisscrosses across, but you're not really knitting in the round, you're knitting a set of blocks. This is the concept, but these are triangles instead of blocks.
Incredible.
So I did do my first triangle, and now I'm struggling with my second triangle on the other side.
Beautiful. So pretty. Love the autumn colorways too. The candy corn is great.
You can't I can't find this color anymore. I tried to find it because I had such a hard time winding it. When my mom was sick, I decided to have her hold some yarn for me when she had her stroke, just to help her do some exercise. Well, it didn't work out very well. So the yarn got all messed up, and it took me and my partner over 3 months to wind this ball of yarn just to get this first sock out.
Oh, God.
And then I tried to buy it again, and I couldn't, because this colorway, you don't see it. You don't see the burgundies and the oranges, and you don't see that. And then they're not making it anymore. I guess it was a very limited edition. So I got lucky the first time.
Wow. Thank you, Kimberly. Let's see, Julie, you're up next.
Well,
how are we doing on your little Advent stockings?
I am on the second one, just as far as what I've knit this month, but I'm in a bit of a quandary. This is the one I did several years back, and apparently I made a mistake and left out about 4 rows, which I put in on the number 1 sock knit over the last couple of weeks. I don't know which I prefer. I think I actually like it without the extra little rim.
Well, I don't know. I kind of like the green one.
Yeah.
You do? Okay.
The green one.
You can stretch that other one out a little bit and it'll match.
Have you blocked the red one?
I haven't blocked either one of them.
Okay.
But I was noticing that the one that I knit during the first year of COVID is much tighter in my color work area.
No surprise.
A little more tension.
So I think I may have to really stretch that one. But anyhow, I do now have 2 out of 25. And number 3 is on the needles, and I've been fighting with them, but I don't know. I got myself 2 short circulars that I might try to swap in, but I was realizing they weren't quite curling around the way I wanted them to either. So I think I'm just going to be fighting with my little set of ribbing up here, and when I'm done, I'll breathe a sigh of relief and go on.
And so you did because the green one, that was the one you were in process with, like, that you started for Socktober. So you get to be celebrated as you finished 1 sock already and perfect.
Yep.
Love it. They are beautiful. And as we mentioned, a smaller sock does not necessarily mean an easier sock, and especially with color work. So way to go, Julie.
Thank you.
Well,
Let's see.
I
Yeah,
could say I
Ginny.
started my second because I'm a 2 at a time on Magic Loop.
Nice. Oof, there's that hydrangea again.
Yeah.
Gorgeous stuff.
And this is the one that has the, I think I'm saying it right, the fish lip heel,
Fish, yes.
fish kiss, fish lip,
Fish
whatever.
lip kiss, yes.
So I'm really getting like, okay, come on, let's get to the heel, let's get to the heel. You know, when it's fun on the front, but the back is just stockinette. And
Was that the hydrangea color?
yes, yes.
Looks beautiful.
Yeah, I switched to this color because I bought a pair of low hunter boots. And this is like the same color.
Oh,
And so last year when I went to Rhinebeck, I had to wear the hunter boots because it was so muddy. And this year I don't think we're going to have any mud. So I'm not disappointed that I won't have my purple socks to match my purple boots.
And tell me what pattern you're using, because there's a stitch on the front there. There's a
Yeah,
pattern.
it's called Scatter by Socks by Amy Stringer.
It's going in that blog post, and the Ravelry bundle with that texture too.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
I have it on Knit Companion. I don't know if you can, I'm using it on my phone because if I have, let's see, well, don't do that. If you can see it. No, there's a lot of glare, but
A little glare.
yeah.
You'll get to see, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll look it up on Ravelry. I'm
So
always looking for
it's
something
a-
with texture.
It's a
Mhm.
4-row repeat,
Okay.
4-stitch, 4-row. So it's,
And Ginny, you said that it had a nice squishy texture, almost like a waffle. Is that what I'm
yeah,
remembering?
it's, I don't know if you can see.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that looks great.
Every other stitch, like say on the first row, you wrap the yarn twice
Okay,
and then you knit 3. And then when you come back the next time, you slip that stitch with the yarn in front. And then on the third row, you do that to the third stitch. So
Okay.
interesting.
yeah,
Hmm.
I don't know if I
Nice.
can. I have it somewhere. Let me see. Oh gosh.
Oh, there goes right.
Somebody's got it. That's not my stomach, I swear.
See ya.
Yeah.
Will anybody else have a sock update while
That's the
oh,
little
there.
pattern.
Okay.
Cool.
So the dashes are slipped with the yarn in front and the stars are the knit and wrap the yarn twice.
Oh, cool.
It's pretty simple. It's pretty easy. However, sometimes I get cocky and I think I don't need to look at where I am. And then the next day I go, oh, look, I think I did that like 4 times. Okay. It's gonna be inside a shoe at this point, so it's like it's only me.
Just you. That's great.
I've been thinking that's the nice thing about socks is like there's a lot of things you can get compulsive about because they're going to get seen. Like if I made a mistake in this, I would be like, oh, I have to take it out, I have to fix it, or a shawl or something. But this, I'm like, it's going to be in my shoe. I'm good. I'm good.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Well,
I'm
thanks.
trying to figure out what to look for at Rhinebeck because I'm going on Saturday. And after all this, I think I'm looking for sock yarn.
We'll be there.
Yeah, well, tons of it. I'm jealous that we can't go with you.
So
Well, if you remote goats happen to meet each other, please take a picture so we can repost it on our socials.
so Alice is doing a meetup on the Scudic Bay. She texted me last night at 2:00 on the hill. So if anybody's
Very
a road
cool.
goat, 2:00 on the hill, Alice Dunn Smith will be there. And I told her also that Andrea Mowry is doing a meetup there at 2:00. So she said, well, we'll do our photo shoot after Andrea does.
Nice. Awesome.
Oh, cool.
Mary, you had your hand up. How are you doing?
I actually, I don't know how to put my hand down. Let me see if I can figure that out. I just ripped out about 10 rows because I had realized I had dropped something and then picked up something next to it and had a weird thing happening. But
How much
that's
for my
okay.
theory, Mary?
It doesn't bother me, right? Like that, I do that all the time. But I have a question, sort of this burning question about double pointed sock knitting and ladders that happen as you cross over from one plane to the next, right? And I have listened to and watched and tried a bunch of techniques. So I'm interested to see what people have to say about how they avoid these things, if they do.
I have always used double pointed needles. I tried the other and it didn't work. And you just give yourself a little bit of tension in the corners, and there I have no ladders. You just kind of snug it up a little bit as you're around the corner, and there's no.
I seem to not be consistent. I've been knitting socks for 20 years, right? And this depends on the yarn, it seems like sometimes, and it depends on me sometimes. So I was just curious. Like, I know some people say tighten up on the second stitch on the needle. Some people told me they move a stitch on their needle every row, which I can't even figure out.
Oh, I do that. In fact, I move between 2 and 6 stitches, unless I have to keep them on a specific needle because of something in the pattern. I get to the end of the needle and I just make sure that I pick up somewhere between 2 and 6 stitches on that needle before I start a new one.
Okay.
So it's very random as to where the actual shift from one to another needle happens. And there's
you
never
just mark your
anything.
beginning. You just mark your beginning so you know
Yeah.
where your beginning is every time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless I'm in a pattern that requires me to do so many stitches on this needle, do these things to it, and then move to another needle. Because I've done socks that had that kind of recommendation too. But what I'm doing now, I'm doing the same thing all the way around the circumference. So it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Are you a magic loop or a double point person?
Double point.
No,
Hate
no.
magic loop.
No, one
Me?
answer the question.
Yeah, I knit with double pointed needles. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I tried magic loop. That's on my list when I retire to try to, so I can sit down long enough to try to figure it out. But socks are like my travel pack project. So I don't really take time to learn something new. That's why I did this this month, to try to learn something new. But this ladder thing just bugs me.
I just had a question for the room. What could knitting through the back loop of that first stitch on the DPN, the first stitch of the DPN after you've transitioned, would that help too? Because I know that it tends to tighten up a stitch in other ways, and that's why some people really prefer a knit through the back loop purl one ribbing, because it's like so neat and those knit stitches look a little tidier. I don't know. Does anybody? So Ginny, you thought maybe?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I know the other thing is I find it on sleeves sometimes if I'm knitting in the round that you get that. And I just kind of keep rotating my stitches around with the marker to show where the beginning of the row is.
Yeah.
You know? But I guess with double points, that's more difficult.
So it really showed up for me in the middle of this. I'm doing the tin can rye sock, right? But it really showed up for me. Like I was like, had part of my ridge, my garter ridge on one needle and part on the next. And then I started looking at it going, oh, this is really lumpy. Now it's lumpy. So I don't know if it'll block out or not.
Also interesting to think about how, was it particularly around the transition from the front of the sock where you do have that garter ridge to on either side? Because maybe that has to do with purling, and purling, you know, if you've moved from a purl to a knit, there's also going to be a little, because right, your garter, okay.
Can you show us where your challenges? Yeah, sure.
I mean, see how it was here? See how it was?
Oh.
Yeah. So then I put it all on one, I put that whole ridge on one needle, but I had it on 2 needles. So I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm enthusiastically doing it all the time.
I'm thinking when you block it, when it gets soaked the first time, that it'll adjust itself.
Okay. Let's hope so. It won't matter because as someone previously mentioned it's going in a shoe, right?
No,
Jenny, yeah, and I do treat things that way too, a lot, but if I'm gonna give it to somebody, I sort of, like, if it's mine, I don't care. But if I'm gonna give it to somebody, I'd like it to look, you know,
Yeah.
as
But
good as
you'd
it
like to
can.
know how to keep that from happening too, though.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
Excuse me.
So,
Well, would you be
thanks.
willing to report back to the group if you try like any of these other ideas that we've been sharing? Let
Sure,
us know if they improve the
Sure.
situation. Okay.
yes,
cool.
check out Patty Lyons, because she always has a lot of really good suggestions about how to tighten up stitches.
okay,
Like
Patty
she-
Lyons,
yeah,
okay,
like her blog, or she does articles for modern day knitting
okay.
every so often, so you might be able to find it there.
I don't think I've listened to anything from her, but I've watched a couple other things that it,
I'm trying to
Not-
think when
I've
she
tried
had,
different techniques, but I'm still
Right.
sort of in the same boat, but, okay, I'll check with her.
There's
Didn't
another
she-
lady called Pink.
oh, Very Pink.
Yeah.
Stacy
yeah.
Berry.
Yes, that has some great help. So you might see if she does something with double points and ladders.
Okay, and is that a YouTube video or is it just a
Yes.
blog
Mhm.
site?
Yeah,
YouTube,
YouTube.
okay,
She's the one who got
Thanks.
me knitting 2 at a time,
Oh,
socks 2 at a time. And I also do 2 sleeves 2 at a time,
now that makes sense.
because that way I know
Mhm.
they're the same length,
Yes.
So true.
yeah, I
the same
know.
tension. She's
All
very,
right,
she even has her demos in slow motion.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
love
she's-
those.
She's really easy to follow.
so I had one more question, sort of just like conventional wisdom or group wisdom or whatever. Reinforcing thread or no reinforcing thread for
No,
heels and toes?
depends on the yarn you're using.
Yeah,
Does it
nylon,
have nylon in it already?
yep,
I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't.
okay. That's how I was taught, but I was taught before there was a lot of nylon added to the sock yarn,
Right.
so,
Right.
okay,
There's
thanks.
some beautiful wool yarns that you just love to use, but it's so stretchy. Then I could see that that would be an advantage to put something with it to help it keep from stretching. I know. I made a sweater one time. I bought this most beautiful alpaca in California. I thought, oh man, I'm going to make this gorgeous sweater. And I had it made and it would have fit Oprah. It was huge. And I tore it all out and I got this yarn. And I visited a yarn shop somewhere. We were traveling at the time and told them my problem. And she says, well, it's alpaca. It's going to stretch. You have to put something with it. And that's when I learned to use mohair.
Mm.
And so I put mohair with that alpaca and I made the most gorgeous poncho. It was so yummy. So yes, some yarns need to have a companion.
Yes. Those short staple
Can I ask a
yarns.
question?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a pair of socks I made last year. It's the earth yarn where they had the 2 balls. And it was, I think it's a toe up, but they're so big at the top, you know, where the ribbing is. Elastic thread? Like, I don't know.
I saw where I think it was Engineering Knits. She had a sweater that had this big collar to it, and the collar got all stretched out. And she used the nylon thread inside that collar and it tightened it all up again and made it really nice. So that's probably would work for the sock.
When you say she used nylon thread, like, did she re-knit a row or what did?
Oh no, she sewed it through. She sewed it into the collar.
Mhm.
Okay.
She
Just
sewed-
kind of ran it through with the needle.
Yep.
Teresa?
Yep. I'm pretty sure it
Cool.
was Knits that did that. Pretty sure that was her.
That's awesome.
I like End up like slouch socks, which not always good.
No, especially if they're not that weren't designed to be that way.
Right.
I wanted to go back
yeah,
to
Mona.
hi
Hi.
to Mary. First of all, I love your lamp, your antique lamp in the background. I have a few here in the house too. They're wonderful.
Thank you.
And oh, who's the other gal that was just, oh, and Jenny, boy. So you learned how to knit 2 at a time from Very Pink?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to focus on that. Right now, I have a pair of socks started that I just split the yarn and got 2 sets of needles so I could kind of match them at the same time. That's the closest I've gotten. I wanted to share that I'm just working on
Oh,
one
so
sock,
cute.
and I have to say I'm very happy. I'm not knitting as much because I have 2 kittens now.
Oh, baby.
Aw.
Hello.
This is one of them, and I haven't had a kitten in 20 years, and they chew on everything. In fact, there are little bite marks in my cord now. And this one here disconnected me from this meeting, so but I'm very happy to have them. I don't know where the other one is. Oh, here, wait a minute.
Good thing you're using Chiago.
I know,
Your
right?
cable.
Aw.
Hello.
Gosh.
Oh,
So cute.
Are they
What are these
siblings?
kitty? What are their names?
That the one I just showed you is Nellie, and then the other one is Ivy.
And
Oh.
siblings?
They're they're siblings. They're both sisters, and I've had them about a month and a half.
Nice.
So they're tons of fun, but yeah, they get into everything. Bless their little hearts.
Yes, exactly.
So
I empathize.
so I'm not getting so much knitting done. It's
But you're getting a lot of joy.
yes.
absolutely, because Eris, I don't know if you remember, but that's why I didn't go. So I finally had to put him to sleep because he was, not doing well. And so I waited about a month or so and found these 2 gals. So it does really help the heart a lot. But
I didn't want to ask because
No.
I was worried about that.
yeah, so I'm so glad. I'm sorry I missed the cruise, but I'm so glad I had extra time with him. So it's all
Mhm.
good. But back to socks. So thanks for listening, and I'm glad that they came around.
Yes, a little spotlight in the Zoom room.
So what I was going to say is your input last week really helped as far as me determining how many stitches to go across on for the
Good.
DK weight. And I did try it on. I probably could have gone down. I think this is like 52. I probably could have gone down to 50. But I'm just going to go ahead and, they'll still be wearable. And I'll use it as a learning thing. And I really do like the toe up and doing it on double points. So that's good. And I did get my yarn.
Pretty.
Oh,
Yay!
this is gorgeous.
Love it.
And
Is that Raven's Bride?
No,
Raven.
it is Muscle.
Muscle.
Mussel.
Yep.
By Seven Sisters Arts. And it's just beautiful. So I'm looking forward to getting these on the needles eventually. So thank you very much. It was great to have the discount too. So
Yay! I love that sock yarn. So
Beautiful
great.
color.
So
Well, nice to see you.
I was going to ask, Mary, so I've often wondered, where would you buy reinforcing thread, or what's it called?
We have some in the shop that is from Yawool, so it's JAWOLL, and we sell it by the spool, and there's not we don't have a crazy rainbow of colors. Mostly we have and Mary, you've got a black, is that right?
Yeah, I have a black and a white, and I bought this, like I said, I've been using the same 2 rolls for probably 20 years. And I bought these at Halcyon, which is no more of a
Mhm.
walk-in place. So, but
Okay.
that was kind of my first encounter with this. They had a lot of what I would have considered like more, like they had a ton of stuff on spools in their inventory long ago.
Okay, well, thanks for that.
So
Yep.
do you hold that with your knitting yarn while you're doing the heels?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And then inevitably I remember it on the second sock for the heel and forget it for the toe, because I'm so excited to be at the end of my second sock. I just zip right on through, and then I look at them and say, oh, well,
Oh,
they don't
dear.
match anymore. So
Well, you're giving me the idea that, I mean, I definitely know that like after a lot of wear, toes are definitely where I have the most wear in my socks. I don't wear them out in the heels. And so that's making me think maybe I should just, add a little bit of to the toes. I don't need it in the heel.
yeah, or the other thing is maybe just add another, like, how like they sell those gold toe socks, right? Like it's a white sock or a black sock with a gold toe.
Right.
Sometimes I do that for socks. I just pick another yarn that I have in my stash and use that in the heel and the toe, just for fun. Yeah. So
well, I want to make sure that we hear from Bev. Bev, you have a kitty in your lap, so maybe you won't be able to share your sock, but who's your kitty, first of all?
Oh, this is Ninja.
Ninja.
And Ninja is a magic cat because he got me to stop crying and start laughing again.
Aw,
Oh.
he
So,
looks like my kitty.
yeah. So he's called Ninja because he likes to fly down the stairs and hit maybe 2 of them on the way down and jump from the floor to the top of the refrigerator.
Oh my gosh.
And I bought this thing called a Valenti pillow. I think it's Valenti. And it's supposed to help your posture and stuff when you knit and do handwork. Unfortunately, it's a perfect cat bed too.
Yes, I'm going to say.
So, but anyway,
Mine's
so when I'm,
usually in my lap.
yeah, so when I'm not trying to knit over the cat, it's starting to look like a sock. I am very
Ooh.
pleased. And I know a lot of you said you don't worry about mistakes because it's going to go on your foot. This one's getting framed and hung on the wall.
All right.
Oh.
So,
Wait a minute. Hold up your knitting again, because I see you bought the stitch stoppers that match your kitty, Ninja.
I love it.
Oh my
My
God.
sister gave me those. And when I was in there last week, I bought these.
Oh.
Adorable.
Black cat things you get, I'll buy them, no problem. Or Rick will. So, but
I love that sock too. Look at you go. And did you use the tip that that Mary Ellen shared about the cast on with your double points?
yes. And I like that better. I really do. I do have a little bit of that laddering that you folks were talking about, but I'm calling it a design element.
There you go.
Great.
Fair, very fair game.
And I have to tell you, one thing I've learned is I'm doing this off the Tin Knits app. And, when I get a paper pattern, I just read through the whole thing. But I found that I really have to force myself to do it on the phone. And so Iris is very patiently and sweetly going, they covered that on page 4. But
No.
no, she hasn't done that at all.
And you can also print out the paper. I mean, it's free, Bev. So you can go right online. If you have a printer, you can print out the paper one. And sometimes I like to have the two.
Yeah, I printed the one that you sent. Of course, it's not my size because I am size Sasquatch in my feet. But I've just, but it's all about learning something new, and I am, and I've actually stabbed myself a lot less this week. I'm happy to report, with all of the points on the double pointed needles. So
Awesome. I'm so glad to see that you've got everybody in the round now, and you're off to the races.
Yes, I am. And I just so enjoy it. I really do. I really didn't think I would like doing socks, but it's sort of like, well, if everybody else is doing them, I guess I better. but
Peer pressure to knit socks.
I am, the peer pressure in this group's terrible. Yeah.
Anything we can do to help.
Thank you. But I love doing the socks. It's just so cool to watch it, you know. The nice thing about the sock is you start to see something sooner than you do like in a sweater or a shawl.
Yes, yes.
So, and I guess I'm still into immediate gratification. So, but I can't tell you how happy I am. So it's good.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Great. Well, who else have we not heard from? I mean, not everybody has to share, but if you'd like to. Teresa, I saw your hand first. Teresa S, and then maybe Teresa C.
All right, so this is my sock so far. I've made a little bit of progress, but I started it last week during the meeting, and then I didn't pick it up again until now. So you know, we'll get there. Maybe not this month, but it's still nice to come to these and make a little progress during them.
Yay!
Very crazy work time.
Well, sometimes it's nice to just be able to show up and have your project, and that's the time to chat for it. Great.
And it's also nice to be able to tell work, I need to leave now. I have a meeting.
Oh,
Yay!
Because I would still be working otherwise.
Oh, well,
Did you-
glad that you had the out.
glad we could be your excuse.
Finish your anniversary blanket?
I did.
Good.
I finished that at the end of August. So only about 2 months late. But better late than never.
That's right.
Good.
Awesome. Thank you. Glad that you're here. And on to the next Teresa.
Okay. So I finished my first sock.
Love it.
Oh, wow.
That's
Love
done.
it.
That's
Go Mets.
Yes.
Amazing.
just like the Mets.
Beautiful.
Yeah. It was the funniest thing. The doing the striping on the calf wasn't hard, but when I had to do it to turn the heel and do the, the knit two together stuff or whatever it is, you have to bring the heel down. I lost my concentration on the stripes. So I did a lot of taking out through that section, but once I got back to just the instep to the toe, I put it back up again and it worked out really nicely. And I finished it up last night. So I'm not a great Kitchener stitch person. I find it frustrating because if you make a mistake, it's, annoying and whatever. But has anybody seen is it the Finchley?
Yes.
The one, and I actually have done that on other things, and I like that better. It's where you do the grafting from the back of the work. And Roxy Richardson has a really nice video on, and I tried to do it with mine. It's only 10 stitches on each side, I tried to do that with this, but I couldn't when I went to get it inside out, I was dropping stitches. The ideal thing for that is to, have it turned around before you get to that point. But I like that graft a lot. I've done it before, but anyway,
I'm gonna add it to our playlist because I don't think I had that one. I like it too. Great. Thank you for that reminder.
And this is the one I just started while we've been talking. So.
Yay.
Because you got to get the second one started pretty quickly or you kind of don't get there. At least for me.
I like the Finchley graft. And it was
Finch, like the bird.
Pretty sure, right? Finchley, yeah. And it was discovered, I think, because it was a machine knitting technique or something like that. I read into it. It was, and
like a
blank. Yeah, it's old. And what was super fun about it was, like Teresa was saying, with Kitchener, if you get interrupted midway, you're sort of like, oh, where am I now? I don't know, maybe I'll just start again. And with Finchley, it's really like interruption proof because you have a fail safe that's kind of built into how you're moving your needle. So it's like your needle's in the front, that means you're doing this. It's just like just felt real intuitive. Yeah, kind of cool.
Yeah.
I will definitely add that to the video list.
Well, thank you. If no one else wants to share that hasn't shared, I had one other thing about the laddering.
Yep.
I watched a video where it talked about, let's see, where it talked about trying to get like these needles more parallel on the double points, so that you're not crossing such a big gap. This is just something else that, and you can do it. It's just trying to get them more parallel when you knit from one needle to another. And there was a video on it, and I'd be happy to send it to you, Iris. Maybe just add it to your playlist.
I'd love to see it.
It was kind of awkward, but yes, it did work. So, but I wanted to throw that in. And also congratulations on, what are there 4 knitters who have done one sock and are on number 2? Yay for all of you.
Incredible, right? Awesome. Well, I see Alice. Hello, Alice. We were just talking about the Rhinebeck meetup. Look at you.
So I just picked this up this weekend up at the Cashmere Goat.
Is that Wild Bergamot?
It is. It's Karen's from Seven Sister Arts, Bergamot. And of course, I have a million things that I should be knitting, but this just was calling me, so it had to get on the needles.
So you just started this since this weekend?
Yeah. I started it on.
We've been working a week or two to finish one, and she's got half done in 3 days.
No.
Yay for you!
I knit a lot.
Yeah.
I still have a sleeve and a half to finish, and so we'll see how that happens before Rhinebeck.
Oh, so nice. So glad that you joined us. I was saying before you popped on that I was just working on that Ravelry bundle today, and I like texted you a little bit about the terraced pine socks that you're knitting. But that is definitely went in the bundle, and there were so many textured sock patterns that were recommended that I actually didn't highlight all of them in my blog post this week. I made the bundle and then I highlighted a handful, but of course terraced pines was in there. But it's just texture is such a nice next step after you've mastered the basic sock, because you want a little bit more interest, a little bit of something to keep you excited, but also maybe you're not ready for like some kind of crazy color work or something nutty like this craziness that I'm knitting right now.
Look at you.
Mary, you had a question?
You mentioned the bundle, and I know you mentioned it last week. So are you putting bundles on Ravelry that are attached to Cashmere Goat somehow?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, okay.
And those, if you're getting our emails to the blog, so yes, I sometimes find it a little tricky as a just general person finding bundles on Ravelry. There's parts of Ravelry I love and adore, and parts that I just find like head scratchy, like why is this so hard? So in the blog, if you're ever like, well, where was that bundle and I can't find it, in the Ravelry, in the Cashmere Goat blog posts, there will always be a link to that bundle associated with the blog post. So like I did the 2 about the vanilla socks last week. Yep. This week it'll be textured, and it will have a link right in the blog post to that bundle. And then you can just sort of browse the patterns.
Okay, because I do my own bundles with my favorites and stuff, but I didn't know other people, you could access other people's in that way. So learn something new. Thank you.
It's a little clunky, and like the way the bundles work, it's like they default to being private, which I get, if you're personal, but then I had to remember that, oh, well, for the goat, I need to make them public to anybody can look, and they don't have to have a Ravelry account, blah, blah. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Trials and tribulations of technology.
Always something new to learn.
Yes. And there's always so many ways of doing something.
Yeah.
Totally.
There's so many opportunities for mistakes.
Yeah.
Well said.
And Judy, did you see my email to you about the silk parka?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you if you could hold. Did you get my email that I decided that I would get 2 of the green olive?
So I can't hold them because of how we like. I mean, so you could purchase it online.
And then you won't send it.
You can, if you add a note to your order to say like, please don't ship until X date, we will see that. But yeah, that'll work.
I just don't want to ask a neighbor to.
Oh, sure. No. It's fine. Just add
I
that
already
note.
have what to do enough things.
We will see it.
You can send it to me and I'll guard it.
What other colors you said you're having other colors come in? What other colors are you getting?
Oh, you should look at the listing because there are some beauties. I was gonna see if I could somehow share it. I don't think those photos have made it into my phone syncing photo library yet. So yeah. But it's beautiful. I mean, I think Kristen ordered about 12 colors, many of the colors that you folks who were requesting it, and then some other really beautiful ones. There's one that's a little bit speckly blue. The olive that you were looking at is quite lovely. It's really, really pretty in person. There's a nice kind of,
I saw it at our local shop, but I wanted to get it from you.
Thanks.
And I went and checked, and because they had just gotten it in. I had looked online, so I went to check and I said, okay, is it going to work or not? And I was really pleased with it. I thought it was a really nice, it's a flexible olive.
It's not a flat olive. Like olive can be a little bit iffy, but it's a vibrant olive. And another one that was really pretty was the pagoda, which is kind of a rich burgundy color.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Yeah.
I like burgundy, but I have my little color palette. It's pretty dull, and burgundy gives it is the liveliest color.
Well, it's lively.
But my little orange socks are coming along.
Good. Let me spotlight you, and then you hold them up for us.
Okay. I made a terrible mistake, and I dropped a stitch. And I was doing, and I thought, well, I can just add a stitch and whatever. Well, by the time I got to the gusset, it came out that you can't really do that. You just have to go back and rip it out and redo the heel and redo the, the whole thing.
Dang it.
Yeah. You do the heel, and what is it? Turn the heel, and then so I decided I would like them to be right. So, and anyhow, I'm having fun with them, and I love the pattern.
Good. I'm so happy.
I mean, it's
about
very
that.
easy, and you can have it on your phone, and you can make all sorts of adjustments, it seems. So
definitely.
What's the pattern?
That's the rye, the rye sock. And somebody was saying, another person, because Judy, I think you said it, but another person said she liked the pattern so much, this was going to be her new favorite vanilla pattern. She's like, I'm gonna just next time do 2x2 rib because I want a boot sock, or
you can put any kind of pattern in it. I mean, it just seems to be, and I really like the way it's written.
Definitely,
it's simple. I found that the one that I used last time, it just, with all the options and all this and that and the explanation, I found a little confusing. But I know that's the famous basic sock pattern, but it didn't really work that well for me.
Yeah. Well, here we are, just about at the top of the hour. Is there anybody that has, burning desire to share who hasn't, or some kind of thought or something to add?
Yeah, I compliment you on your video on the gusset.
Oh, good.
I thought that was a really nice explanation.
I used to hate it so much, and I used to dread it, and now I actually feel much more comfortable, and I don't know, just understanding the role of what those slip stitches are doing for me and creating the selvage edge, huge in terms of my brain understanding.
Yeah, no, I thought it was very, very nice. So thank you, thank you.
Oh, thanks.
I'm gonna pass it on to a friend of mine
Aw,
who's
wonderful.
made many pairs of socks, and she was complaining about her gussets. She was never really 100% thrilled. And I thought,
Yeah.
this the way you did it, you can't miss.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yay.
Mhm. Well, here we are. I mean, probably people might need to eat dinner. I mean, I know knitting, you know, sometimes you don't want to put down your knitting and pick up your dinner, but it might need to happen. So thanks so much for joining us for another Socktober meetup, and just love seeing all the progress. Congratulations to those of you that have finished your first sock and started your second. So exciting. The problem is I feel like I'm going to need to move on from socks to like some holiday knitting. And there's so many great patterns that I want to try now that I don't know. I'm not really like a knit socks for somebody's present. That's like a big lift for me. I don't know that I could go that far, but I really want to explore some more sock patterns.
Yeah.
Iris, you didn't show us your sock.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that'll be our finale. I'm remembering to spotlight myself. Look at me. I am on sock number 2 as well. But you know, remember I started early because I knew I was going to need to get a handle around this craziness.
That is so crazy.
Got my brioche heel, very squishy. And you know, I was a little unsure of whether I thought brioche heel would hold up, but like it's really 2 layers of fabric, so it should. And I'm doing the very sort of tedious part now of making my heel gusset here, you know, as I'm picking up a stitch from this top flap and also from the bottom as I'm going. So I'm approaching the end of that, and then I'll just be able to continue to join the top to the bottom as I continue to progress. And
that's your second one.
That's my second one. So I'm excited for maybe like a slightly less exciting sock the next time.
No surprise.
It's loads of fun though, and I'm not having second sock syndrome because I'm like, you know, okay, this is a party every step of the way with this one.
Enjoy wearing them.
Yeah, it will be very fun.
And good color choices. Like they really bounce off each other.
You know, I was thinking about a combination of colors that I first saw when I was living in Portland, Oregon. It was the California pop. It was like I was walking, I don't know, I was a college student, so I was probably walking to the grocery store, and I was like on the verge of a busy road. So I was just looking at the weeds, right? At the weeds by the side of the road. And it was California poppies right next to those beautiful purple asters. And that was just such a memorable, beautiful part of living in a city. Seeing those two next to each other, I've never forgotten it. So these are kind of my little California poppy aster socks, except for it's hydrangea plus tiger lily is what Rachel calls them. Oh. Bye, Kimberly. See you next week. Thanks for your good ideas. All right, you guys, I'm going to hop off the call. Alice, will you stay on with me for a minute? Because I want to give you one little update. Okay.
Alice,
bye,
I'll see you Saturday.
Next week.
See you Saturday.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Happy knitting.
Bye. Happy knitting.
Bye.